Uh, yeah, fantastic.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Backseat musicians.
Yeah, backseat musicians.
Backseat musicians.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Backseat Musicians. We have a name.
And a logo.
And a logo.
And an intro melody.
Yes.
And an intro movie.
Yes.
Wow!
It's crazy.
This is ridiculous.
This became real, guys. We exist now.
Yeah. I mean, as much as fun as this is to do, even if no one watched, it's better when people watch, so that's a vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's also a vibe if you guys give us suggestions of what you want us to talk about, like, I don't know, musically related, mostly, I suppose. But, I mean, we're more than happy to talk about, like, Daniel's hair.
Blake's legs.
Anyways, so what is today's topic?
Today's topic is dance music.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily the electronic genre, as people understand it these days, more music that you dance to.
This is not working. I'm not wearing shorts again. Okay.
Yeah, so I find it interesting, a lot of music that we play stem from dance music.
You mean in general, like you and me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, most music really actually stems from spiritual music.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of the root of it. But in many traditional things, dancing was part of the spirituality of it.
Yes.
Even in Christianity, like praising is not supposed to be like this, holier than thou thing. It's supposed to be, like excitement, and dancing is a expression of excitement and joy and unity. Especially if like it's a whole clan or a tribe that's dancing together. To get into trances or just whatever it is, like all the different things. I'm not that clued up on these things, but I do know that dancing is it's a pure form of expression, many different ways. It's very cool. But okay, you're gonna talk about like swing music.
No, not really. I mean,
I mean like where you were going now. Sorry.
Yeah, sort of. No. I mean, also like I think a lot of music did come from dance music. Like even a lot of classical music came from dance music and spiritual dances and that kind of traditional music.
Waltzes and
and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
foxtrots and then Latin music.
Yeah, exactly.
The tango and the salsa. Those are dances.
Like a big part of writing music for a very long time, in my opinion, has been writing music that's danceable with a good melody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. Even like like in slavery, when they would sing on the when they were working, and that singing would keep them in time. Now that's not a dance, but the music was a function then, and then the emanation of jazz and the blues, and then swing music.
Yeah.
And R&B, the original R&B rhythm and blues, which that's slow jazz dancing.
Yeah.
Not like than what like how we know R&B today.
Yeah.
But I mean that original, that Coltrane and all those guys and Charlie Parker used to play in the clubs. People would dance to it.
Yeah.
That's the rhythm and blues. So you get fast dancing and you also get like slow dancing. Like sort of more romantic type dancing, which is like that intimate dancing, like the rhythm and blues. Slow dancing. And then you can get like swing dancing, which could be really fast. You see somehow there's hip or there's swing dances. And then you can get like also like trance type music. There's so many. It's such a broad topic.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I find it quite interesting. But I think it's interesting when you see. So, for example, one of the people I was looking at when I was thinking about this topic was Zit, and literally on his album Clarity, the title song Clarity, when you play it, you can hear it's like it feels like a pop song. You know what I mean? Like a pop song, good melody, danceable beat, but the focus is really that sung melody, with the builds and shifts and in between. Like you can dance to it, but it's all about the melody, in that sense. But then straight after that is just like pure functional dance music. Like there's melodies, there's drops and falls, of course, to keep interest. But it's like there's no theme that grabs you in the same way that Clarity does. And it's very interesting to see both straight after each other, and the fact that Clarity was the one that won him a Grammy. So I think there's an interesting, when it comes to writing and you're thinking about dance music and the danceability of your tunes, it's important to remember that there's these two sides like this working. If you worry too much about that thematic thing to the point that no one can really enjoy it in terms of moving to it, having fun, that kind of thing, they're going to struggle to enjoy it on that level. But if you completely ignore the theme, you're going to lose it's going to be less memorable, even though people will enjoy it.
It's a tough one, because it depends on what you're writing for. Because within genres of dance, within different forms of dancing, like even say within house music, there's different types of house music, and certain people like certain types of house music. You know, there's like a more commercial type house, and then there's like deep house, and then there's like prog house, progressive house, and you know, there's so many different there's techno house, and there's this not new, but there's just so many different genres, and certain people just flock to certain things. So like there's certain types of house which to my ear is really boring and super repetitive with not much going on, and there's certain people that only listen to that. Do you know what I mean? Like there isn't even a melody, or like there's just a spoken word.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like so I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that there's it's also knowing your audience and like who are you writing this for.
Yeah, that's true.
And so you know, also dance music is a tough one, because nowadays in clubs what they're playing is different, you know, and you it's so hard, because I mean half the time a song that's going to stick is going to stick to a memorable occasion. If you had like a banging night at a club, whatever it was, and a song was played and it was just such a good night, and one song was more catchy than the other, that's the song that's going to stick for that night. Do you know what I mean? Like that song where everyone got on the dance floor and everyone was just partying and it was just really lived up. There's a song that might stick out, it will be because of melody.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously grooviness on it. And so the association, but then, you know, getting it to the point where it's playing at a club is an interesting one, because there'll be clubs that will not play a Z song.
Yeah.
Like you won't hear it at these sort of sophisticated housey clubs, you know, because it's commercial music, and there's a big percentage of people these days that don't want to listen to what's played on the radio anymore, you know, and they go for, you know, like there's this big in thing where people want to be at the forefront of knowing underground music. So if you go to a club and these DJs that take so much pride in finding music that's not on radio that you might not have heard, but that's banging. You know, and they take so much pride when they put a song on that they know that not many people know the song, and they just see all the Shazams come up. You know, like that's so much pride in them. And there's those people who go to the DJs and they try and steal their set lists and stuff, because even though they're not DJing themselves, they want to be at the forefront of the underground.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's a weird one, because I mean, I think sort of, for instance, winning a Grammy for it, it's so hard. Like winning a Grammy is a specific thing, because you won a Grammy within a specific pop genre, right? Within the pop category. But that's dance music within, like, generally that kind of songs are played at parties, not at clubs. They're different. Do you know what I'm saying? Like at a birthday party, and people will dance it and enjoy it, and you know, at an event maybe, you know, but the minute you're gonna go serious dancing, the whole thing changes. And there's not many like serious dance songs because then you're talking about like trance and because EDM became commercial at one stage, but the trance was also commercial at one stage. But there's still that genre hasn't died, and people are still going to festivals and dancing to music that is not played on radio at all anymore, except for specific niche genres. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about dance music, it's important to check out the fact that what we hear on radio is not the only form of dance, because generally anything that's played on radio is not going to be that's pumping on radio on top 40 is not always what's going to be playing at an actual club unless someone has done a remix of it.
Yeah. But once again, like that wasn't at all what I was talking about.
No. I'm just rambling.
I got you.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What do you say?
Yeah.
I'm just rambling.
Because the thing is that when you talk about serious dancing, I mean, Zed has his own concerts with these massive light rigs and all that, where he literally just he plays his album with a few live elements, and these people go nuts.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I'm not saying that it's not, but it's still a specific thing. Within that, because there are certain dance tracks that, for instance, let's say Get Lucky, Daft Punk. Even though it was a housey song and a dance song, you wouldn't have heard that in clubs very often unless it was remixed, not just as itself.
Oh, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all I'm just saying. It's it doesn't mean it's not a dance song. It doesn't mean that it's not danceable. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to go to a place and dance to it. But clubs will, unless you went to a commercially bougie under 18 club, it's different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The styles is different. And that's what I'm saying. It was a platform.
Yeah. No,
and that's why so many guys go and send their stuff to have it remixed by DJs. They actually want it.
Yeah.
Because if you can get big at a club, it's going to mean you're going to get players outside of that club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So that's one thing I actually wanted to talk about with this in this dance music thing. When you're writing a pop tune, it's usually a good idea to think of a few things. So you think, okay, I want a strong melody, I want it to be danceable, but I also want it to be remixable. Yeah,
that is a tough one. And remixable is such a big important part of it. I remember DJ Fresh once giving advice to people producing. It's it's a really good idea to send your track. If you send a track, also send especially if you want it to be danceable, or if it is a dance song, for instance. Even if you were the DJ, you the guy, the producer of it, send a version that can be remixed anyways. Send with a long ending, just looping. So that people can mix it into other songs, so then it can become part of a set, That's why house songs, dance songs, are much longer than radio type songs, because it needs to be mixed in. You need to give the DJ time to not prep and move out, and then also send a version without the voice, so that a DJ can mix in the song and then have just the track playing while it's transitioning in and out of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It gives them options. So that's another way to look at it when you're releasing music. Have those versions. Have it with the voice. Have it without the voice. Have it extended if you want, with just play out loops. And that's not necessarily what you submit to radio, but that's what you would give then, and have available for people to do stuff with.
Definitely.
Make those connections. Ask people.
Yeah, or even I think. So there's that you try to make it happen by sending them exact stuff, but I think also sometimes just in the core writing of it, it's amazing when you write something. So for example, sometimes I'll be sitting watching a gig and I'll go, sure, that'd be so cool if I took that and did this and did this and did this and did this. If you can make people think like that when listening to your music, especially the right people. Bang.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously that, but I mean, if you're not someone that's going to get heard yet, if you're not on the scene, so if I put out songs, I'm not necessarily on the scene, commercial scene.
But let's say you're at your gig, you're playing something, and there are people, and they're sitting there listening. If they're sitting there listening, going, sure, I can do a lot with this. You're going to do much better than.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
Crucial.
It's tough to think like that, hey? Because you also want, you don't want to dampen the expression. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the writing, but unless you're writing it for that purpose, which there's nothing wrong with that either, But I would definitely say that is a good, like you mentioned, I don't know when it was, a couple of weeks ago, the groove starts with the voice.
Yeah.
Starts with the lead. And if that's grooving, then it can be very easy. If you sing it rhythmically and in time and in the pocket and really nicely, it gives whoever maybe wants to remix it an easy start to make it work. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I mean, my favorite example for thinking of a song that's remixable but also very complete is a lot of Charlie Puth's work, which is why I was listening to him so much. Like, Attention is a complete song, but I'm sitting there going, sure, you can remix. You can do so much with this. Because it's very simple, but it's not. You're not listening, going, sure, there should be this, there should be this. It's like, oh no, I can do this, but there's no reason to do it unless I want to do something fun with it. And that's an important thing to have in the minds of your DJs, your producers.
Even Gregory Porter did that, hey?
Yeah,
have you seen? He's got like a whole remixes album because of it's allowing that to happen because of the way he sings. Like you say, he sits the pop. He's got this really nice way of singing free, but being really in time. You know, he plays the melody, but there's always a sync groove point. You know, there's a whole album out of remixes of some of his older stuff, and then the big one was that obviously Holding On with the Disclosure. Which I really enjoyed. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the other stuff, but I mean, the fact that it's out there means he or his people are thinking cleverly that this jazz musician, who's a full-on jazz musician, is applicable in another industry. He doesn't necessarily want to be full-time in that industry, but here's a way of us getting him out there, getting bigger. You know, so even a jazz musician, even a reggae singer can have their stuff done in that way. I mean, actually, there's been a lot of people that do that anyways.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good to think like that from the get-go.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's not even, for me, like, it's not easy, but in terms of, you can write a very remixable song almost completely by accident, because if you have a strong melody, and you sing in the pocket, immediately that opens doors. And then when you add other things to it, sometimes, like if you have like a fun groove or maybe some nice chords, then certain people will latch onto that and go, oh, I like that, and I'll do this and this.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, another thing that's within music is like I'm a big fan of salsa music, and people have you noticed how like that whole tradition, like the music has slowed down? Have you noticed like a lot of stuff is now at that 90 BPM for that like rumba type slower Latin stuff, and I've heard like a house remix of one of Michael Jackson's songs, but done in a Latin. So it was like a Latin style Michael Jackson remix done to like a dance groove. Like not a like a Latin dance groove, normal 4 on the floor house groove, but in like a Latin vibe.
So a bit like one of the Unity Projects things.
Yeah, like that. But it was long ago.
Okay,
really, I heard long ago. And there's been a few of those out, and you know, that's like 3 genres combined. And obviously Michael Jackson, big groove singer.
Yeah.
Strong melodies always, and keeping that all together, it just allowed for anything to happen from it. Do you know what I mean? Like anything could have happened from that because, the way he sang in the pocket, I think that just got his stem, you know, like vocal stem, and someone just messed around with it, and kind of backing up exactly what he's saying. So he has a strong melody, easily identifiable. He sang it in the pocket and grooved with it, so we can turn it into anything we want now. You know, it doesn't always have to be like a 4 on the floor 120 BPM dance thing, but it can be like a 105 BPM dance trap thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But that's also a new thing that's kind of dancing now, sort of. That's playing big in the clubs. Yeah. And I mean, if you check Latin music, hey, if you analyze like a salsa band, so you have your horns, you have your like your piano, just giving your chords in an arpeggiated way, and you got your bass, and then you got your percussion and leads. So like you say, the rhythm is like the most important thing in the setting. So they have 3-4 percussion players. There's a clave which is just consistent. 3-2-2-3. Like ga 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 So there's your most important thing. The minute the salsa dancers can hear that, they can dance, even if there's nothing else happening.
Yeah.
It's like if you just put a 4 on the floor in a club, in a house, house league. 4 on the floor, people can start dancing. They already got that before you've done anything else. So that's their clave. Clave, that's for salsa dancers. And then you got and then everything just falls on top of that. And like the singer for me, generally in that setting, is actually the hype man.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily like his melody. People catch hits with it, whatever, and they'll know it and they can sing along to it, but it's not the most important part, because the salsa dancers are going to start dancing the minute the clave starts. Do you know what I mean? Like, almost like immediately. So his role there obviously needs to be in the pocket, but the horns are sitting there, also adding body to the harmonies, adding punches, adding rhythm. Everyone is just giving rhythmical contributions. The piano's not going ga, maybe in certain sections, but everything is just rhythm. It's just pumping you with movement and rhythm. The bass is playing against the drum. The bass not playing on one. He's pushing it but playing ahead. It's amazing how that whole thing cycles to make this moving machine of dance that makes you want to move immediately if it's done well. Yeah, which is not that easy.
No, not at all.
But that comes from that strong sense of rhythm. But it doesn't have to be like our boring. Some music can be quite like stagnant when it's too like in the pocket. Like I'm not in the pocket, in the grid. On Logic, whatever. Quantize on the piano roll, everything's that. But you'll find some of the great guys, like Zed will do, and Disclosure and salsa bands will do, and a lot of these guys, they have like these fighting rhythms which give a pulsation, gives this rotation thing. So the way that the Latin music, the bass is playing dum gum gum gum, it's playing he's not playing on the part, going dum dum dum, doesn't move. That all of a sudden changes the feel. So now bass, if you want to make your bass line, for instance, sit, on just ba bum dun 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 dun. The minute you go dun 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 dun, that's giving you tempo already. Like making it, changing it up, and not making everything square, allowing it to be free, and move is what makes it danceable. Even in swing music, the bass is playing, should be playing ahead. Yeah. Or one of them. Certain duos will be different, but generally, like as maybe the drummer is playing ahead and the bass player is like playing on or just behind. But that fight is what makes it swing. Yeah, definitely. That fight of the bass playing, it's like just ahead of that beat, which is giving you this driving feel, which is what makes it work. And that's the interesting thing about dance music, is that when a band or a producer is able to put it together, it doesn't mean they're playing perfectly. It means they're almost fighting each other. In a musical way. Yeah. And that's what makes it really groove and sit. Yeah, it's awesome. It's really cool to like dissect that and make it, to figure out what's making that happen. Yeah, like even funny enough, in one of those, I've been watching all of those Diary of a Song things. I've shown you one or two of them. The what? The Diary of a Song things. So they did like the middle, and they did Justin Bieber, and they did Ed Sheeran. Well, they would sit with him and the songwriters, and yeah. So it was Shape of You, like the songwriter lauded Ed Sheeran for fighting against rhythm with his like sing rap thing, because it's like, most people just sit with this, but he fights against it and it just adds so much to the groove. Like, and it's like that's the thing, man. Like even one of my favorite things done by Dirty Loops, where they did a version of Tafite by Stromae. French pop guy. But I know you've played one of his songs, but I haven't really been following Dirty Loops for a long time. But like basically they do this thing but before they start. So you like, so the beat's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and they go da 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 da. They move the phrase through the bars. And then it just like, when it sits in, it's just like, what? It feels so good. It's a clave basically. Yeah, I've listened to that so many times. Like even the band Cat Empire, so they do a lot of Latin stuff. Yeah. And like when Kende was sitting in the car with me, Kende's a friend of ours who loves Latin dancing. Yeah. And like when they started playing one of their Montunos and they already sat in it, he was just like, he was there having so much fun. Yeah, like, he's not like a purist, so he likes anything kind of Latiny, and Cat Mpho kill it.
Yeah, they do.
They're awesome.
That Montuno is part of the clave, even though they don't have like a traditional clave within
yes.
It's like when that goes, you know, it
you're
sits.
sitting in the yeah. Even like with house music, you get that kick on all four, and then clap on 2 and 4. You know, or not clap like snare. You know, something a drop. So that's a hi-hat going on the off. Maybe there's a basic thing. It's not, you know, but you know, like getting something falling, and then what makes it move. That's now if you start with your song there and it's got nowhere to go, they'll start adding these things just before, depending on where they want to put it, before the 2 and 4, you know, you know, you add like anticipation, which makes, and then if you do that anticipation right with the right sounding and like the right breakdown, just before, you get a falling sensation onto that 2 and 4, which makes it sound like it's late, or makes it sound more accented, whatever it is. It's so interesting that you don't have to make it louder. You just you create something just before. Like Daryl always taught in big band arranging. How do you emphasize something on the offbeat? Play on the downbeat. Put a kick on the downbeat. Boom, ga. You know, whatever you want to do. So you hear that. Otherwise, it just sounds like to the average listener who doesn't know music, it's not maybe necessarily feeling the pulse and paying attention to that. If you want to make it known that you did this hit off, that the band went, you don't know that's not off. I need to go, put something down, you know, so that it goes. It's that same thing that it accents that a little bit harder. So that's on the off. But if you want to accent something on the down, like on the beat, you know, you add a little thing before that to make it feel like it's out of place, but it's not. You know,
definitely.
It's clever.
No, it's very clever.
Disclosure kill that with their grooves, man. I'm telling you about that transcribing that thing. Oh man, down to the 64th. You know, like that's crazy. This stuff, the way that they put together, just like hi-hat feels and anticipations of claps and snares and just things that are running through it. It's like it's so precise. It's not just like on a 16th grid. You know, it's so detailed. I don't know if they just loop it or if they play it themselves, but it's super grooving, and it's because of that. It's not just a, you know, it's got so much more intricacy in it. Not always from the beginning, but they can build it into something so big because they clearly have a very good understanding of that, fighting rhythms. Obviously making sense, but sort of a all just interlocking really beautifully.
Like creating interest. Key to keeping the attention of anyone is creating interest within any art medium. Like, you know, the same way if a book starts getting boring, where like it's fun for a bit and they start talking about sticks, but then there's too many sticks.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's like, again, okay.
And if things become too predictable,
that's true.
So like, you know, like if you watch a comedian and then you know where he's about to go. So I find that often, like, you know, because I watch so much comedy, like stand up, you know where the joke's about to go. You like, I clearly know what he's about to say before that, right? And then he doesn't say that because he knows that you think he's going to say that, so he comes from like another angle, and you go, wow, that's what, like, those are beautiful moments in comedy where you, like, I laugh so much louder than you were, like, than normal, because he tricked you.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Like, that's exactly it. And it's because people, like, that's what's entertaining. It's not like when you talk about mainstream commercialism, like there is a lot of aspect of like the predictable, but you need to have just enough of the unpredictable. Exactly. And it's true for anything, man.
It's like you know, when in dance music, when they'll add a bar or add 2 beats, it goes up, it's building to, and it goes when you think it's about to drop, and it goes, and then everyone loses their shit. They're like, you know, because they tricked you. He tricked you, and that's what they love, especially live. Like when you do those things, it really works so beautifully. Yeah, actually, because.
Sorry, there's this funny thing just reminded me. There was like a series of YouTube videos of these 2 DJs who would like just after the drop would go, and then they would play, and then everyone would be like, they'd literally be ready to jump, and these guys would always go down underneath their stage because they used people throwing tomatoes and shit. If they do that, but it's like throwing their beers, going It's crazy cat. They did huge festivals, man. Like, just they're going
that's
nuts.
Brilliant. I'd do that. That's a good idea.
Sorry.
I'm gonna do that.
Oh.
I saw that. Did you see that video? It's like obviously like a kids youngsters party, and everyone's in a circle, and the song is dropping, and it's about to drop, and this kid comes running in, jumps like over his friends, lands on the ground, and he thought it was about to drop, but he got like this, and it doesn't drop, and then it's like, and then it's a whole bar, and everyone's like, yo, and another friend jumps over him, bah, on the feet, and everyone loses their mind. It's exactly that.
Please send that to me.
I must find it. I don't know. It's old, man, but it's brilliant.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And he looks so disappointed. He walks over like, oh man, like, damn it. How did I not fall for this? It's brilliant.
Nah, that's the thing. And also, yeah, like I think also one thing. So last night I got to watch one of my favorite local bands.
The Blake Ellaby band.
When last have you guys played?
Yes, it's been, I don't know. I can't even remember myself.
Like 2 months?
No, bro. When last did I play? As Blake Ellaby.
Did you play it at like that hotel thing with the Berkeley Cats?
Yeah, I guess. But sort of. Yeah, I guess. And then since that, I think that was like one of the first times this year. Because I've just been like on my own buzz, doing my own thing.
No, I mean, same dude. 8 months for me. Like, just basically.
Yeah. But anyways, it's not like I'm not doing anything. I'm working really hard.
Yeah, no, same.
I'm in sleep. It's fun though, not moaning. Anyways, sorry. You're going to see your favorite band.
So local bands. There's a great local band called the Nomadic Orchestra. They've got like they've got a good following here, like a good cult following. There was a time when they were really big, but they've got like a good cult following and they're building again. And just like one thing, because I'm not much of a dancer unless it's like ballroom, but like there's not a lot of spaces for that.
You should be like the go-to matric dance guy.
We didn't do ballroom at my matric dance.
I know, but you learned, didn't you have like those lessons? We had like, everyone's like, yeah, you must go from, like at the school, they're like, yeah, I'll go for the dance lessons because you can dance. And then when those, like that vibe came, no one did it. Like not one person. No. Empty dance floor until they started pumping like, I don't know who was big back then in the dance scene.
Yeah.
2008, who was big? I don't know. Usher. Like
same vibe.
Backstreet Boys. I think it was still that year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same vibe. I mean, look, like I just did it because my friends got me into it in like grade 11. Anyway, but I'm not much of a dancer, but like these guys, they usually get me going. Like last night I was watching more, but I also got involved in the participation a bit because they make it so much fun. Like I think that's also a big thing that like another thing you talk about the Latin music, a big part of it is that those Latin musicians are amazing performers as well, and they know how to get people moving. So even if you don't want to dance, like you want to dance to Nomadic's music, and they also have those things where they have something that you can remember from each song. It's usually 2 or 3 things. But like when it comes to the drop, it's just like it's bouncy, it's easy to dance through, and and they're silly and fun, and that's their vibe, man. No, I had a lot of fun at this gig, guys. That's why I'm gushing. But like, just
no, but it's cool. Dancing, yeah, I'm not a dancer. Hey, flop.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, but the thing is that like, for me, the crazy thing about what Nomadic do is that like, it's imagine people remembering horn lines. You know what I mean? That's what they do. Like I hear people going in the crowd going like doing that. Like it's like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like the guys know it. They remember it. Like,
it's the same with like Anomaly, and like the people. There's no lyrics. So the people sing his melodies, the piano melodies or the synth melodies, because it's grooving. And and they want to, you naturally just want to like express something, and I guess the melody is that thing that's expressing, and it's a vibe. But Nomadic Orchestra, they have a vibe, definitely. I haven't been out of my hole for very long, so I haven't really seen much for a very long time. But I think it's actually a local thing. Like I know, there's one of these saxophonists, international smooth jazz guys. don't know who it was, Dave Sanborn or someone like that, and he was here, and he was commenting. He said like it's the first time in his life that he did a gig where people sang all of his melodies. So there's no lyrics, just smooth jazz. People sang all his melodies, and he said it was the first time. So it's a thing. It's like we do. That's what we do.
Yeah, that is actually what we do.
It's like we are like that, and that's really cool about it. And I think it's a across the board nation thing. We all do it.
Yeah, we do.
Like in African jazz musicians, if you go to certain gigs, you'll check the people singing their jazz melodies because there's nothing else to do, and they sing the melody. You know, like it's what it is, and it's really cool. I mean, it must happen in other things, but I think maybe not always has it been in a jazz context. You know, in South Africa, what is strange for them.
Like there's very few times you're gonna play Billy's Bounce and then someone will sing it back to you. Yeah, that's my thing. You know, like just
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean maybe here, considering our vibe, but just you know what I'm saying. It's just a different thing.
I sing it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's just an amazing thing, and I agree that it's definitely part of what we do here, but also just like. When no matter they really welcome you, if you know what I'm saying, like they bring you in and they go come let's do this, and that's a skill.
It definitely is a skill. It's definitely a skill that's valuable no matter what your gig is. It's to open yourself up and allow people in to experience whatever you have to give them, and it's something you have to work on. I don't know, like I need to work on that again as well, myself. Because I'm like a grumpy old man these days. Like everything irritates me. So, yeah, I think I look quite closed. My wife was scolding me yesterday. Because at the event organizer, I looked so irritated. And I was, but not for no reason. I guess I was just grumpy. It was like, it was a Friday.
Yeah.
Everyone else gets to party. And I'm sitting at home, working. No, I'm joking, but I mean, like, yeah, I'm very unfriendly, and you can't be unfriendly and like, and not and expect people to enjoy the gig.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know, even if you put on a persona and pretend to not be a grumpy old man.
Yeah, they're gonna notice.
No, they won't, man. I'm good enough actor. I'm a performer. I'm so good at pretending to be good that I can let people think that I'm opening up to them. I'm not a grumpy old man. I'm pretty sure I can do that.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, being good is half of it's like convincing people that you're good.
Yeah, that's true.
But like doing stuff. I was watching this other thing the other day, and this pianist was so boring, and he was so average. I was like, but he's like famous. Jazz. And I was like, this is so crap. But he'd convinced us that he's good. Do you know what I mean? And everyone else was digging it, and I was like, I see through your lies. You know, like, I was just like, what? It was such a busking scene. I couldn't believe it. It's weird. I mean, like, he wasn't, not folding, but I mean, like, but that's basically what I'm trying to say is, like, you're only as good as you make people believe that you're good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that's not what I mean.
No, that's not what you mean.
I mean, people will perceive you to be as good as you allow them to, not from what you show. So because you don't have to play a lot to be a good musician. You don't have to be the most technically proficient musician in the world to be good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's an aura. Like, professionalism is an aura. It's a thing you give off. It's not a thing that you do always. Yeah. Like, you are professional, but before you're professional, you prove yourself to be professional to get that professional thing. Yeah, so you have to give off a professional vibe. You know, a no-nonsense, if that's what you want to be. Whatever it is, it's something that you need people to perceive before they even hear it.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a thing you give off. It's like, people think of me as like, people are scared of me. Like, they think I'm no nonsense. And it's because I give that off.
Yeah.
So like, with our dog and with my son, you'd think I beat them. Like, you'd think I beat the crap out of them, because the minute I'll be like, Daniel, he'll freak out. And like, you know, completely just stop whatever nonsense he was busy doing. You know, like, you'd think that from that I was beating over this, because I give off this, like, I'm not taking any nonsense right now. Stop it. I don't have to shout. I don't have to raise my voice. But I mean business. You know what I mean? It's a thing you give off. Same with the dog. Joe, get inside. Might have to shout twice, but he knows. I don't mean nonsense. Like, if you're going to push me, I will kick you over the wall.
Yeah.
I give off that thing. I may or may not do it. But do you know what I'm saying? You give off that thing.
Yeah.
And many times that kind of thing is like stop me from being robbed and stuff like that. Like when I'm flipping scared in this moment, like walking alone in the nighttime on the street or something, and I have my phone out, and I'm like this believer, like, I will never put my phone away if I see something dodgy, because then if that is a dodgy person, he's gonna know that I'm scared.
Yeah.
So if I see you, I'm not gonna put my phone away. I'm gonna hold it out and I'm gonna let you know that I'm not scared of you, even if I am.
Yeah.
And like, there's been times that people have tried, like someone has literally tried to take my phone out of my hand, and I just knock their hand out like away, and I just turn around and look at them while I'm walking. And I'm like, I'm not taking your shit. I don't know if it always works. Like, it's worked enough, but it's a sense, like, obviously don't get into trouble. I'm not trying. I'm looking for trouble, but I'm just saying that I give off an aura. Give off an aura on stage. Like, if you want to be a good performer, give off the aura of being a good performer. What does that mean to you?
Yeah.
Each person's obviously different, And before you've even started, they say, like, when Michael Jackson walked onto stage, he controlled the stage from the second. So he probably was controlling the stage from behind the stage.
Yeah.
In his mind. Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the keys, I think.
Yeah. No,
to dance music.
Yeah. Well, it is because people, modern people don't always want to dance. I find our generation really, really struggles to dance and like enjoy themselves that much. And you're gonna have to fight a battle to get them to dance, but because it's a dance gig, you have to win the battle before you start. So that aura is very important.
Yeah. You can't expect people to dance at a dance gig if you're not going to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I think I'd be a terrible hype man. Yeah. Because I can't dance myself. I can play the piano for someone that's a hype man. And I can move on my piano and be like, yeah, baby. You dig? But I mean, like, it's just, I know my limitations in life.
Yeah.
And, dancing is like, literally one of the worst things in the world for me.
You don't even have to dance that much. Like, so Harvey was the lead the tenor saxophonist from Nomadic. Like, he didn't even dance that much, but you could feel it. Like, the way he played, you can see the groove, and he would just sit there doing this.
Yeah.
But you can see he's just enjoying himself. So what I think it's a mixture of that aura and then also just that little bit of vulnerability of you saying, I'm enjoying my own music and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So you should too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and
definitely.
I don't care if you don't. I'm gonna have fun up here.
100%.
And then people go nuts for that.
I agree. I definitely agree. And that way, people will even eat nonsense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're not nonsense, you explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the best thing.
So now just try not to be nonsense.
Yeah.
That's the goal in my life.
True.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Because this, we look at like examples within our lives, like our music, this podcast. Just
yeah.
Not completely nonsense, but yeah, just
yeah. Like my hair. It's not complete nonsense, but it doesn't grow. Everywhere. Damn it. See, I'm being vulnerable now. I'm bringing the audience into one of my insecurities in life.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you now feel like dancing.
Nigel Pearson. I don't even know Nigel Pearson.
Yeah.
Good Up FM radio DJ. Well, ex. I think he got fired again for like the 12th time.
Okay.
He always used to say this thing. He'd be like, "Are you dancing?" He'd like scream, like, "Are you dancing?" Because I'm asking, like, the whole time. It was a vibe when I first heard it. I thought, oh, he's rhyming. He's a poet and he knows it. And then it gets pretty irritating later on in life.
Yeah. I think because you can't. You see, I have this thing with audience participation within anything. If you have to actually ask them to do it, you can only do that so many times. like if you want people to get involved, you must bring them in other ways with non-verbal communication with what you're doing.
That's why DJing is so hard.
Yeah.
Like, to keep people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And like, one of my friends who's a DJ was also saying, like, you also have to give them breaks. You can't just bang banger after banger after banger, because people need to drink. They need to like take a break. You have to also be comfortable with that floor being empty for a little bit, because obviously a DJ is playing for maybe 3 hours, 2 hours. It's not like if you're doing one set of a gig, that's okay. You know, because maybe there's an act before and there's a break, and then you're on for 45 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. That's okay. But when you're playing 3 hours, you have to be okay with the floor being empty at times, and allowing the floor to be empty by playing a song that can allow the floor to be empty, and people can just still enjoy it and let it pump, and it's grooving and it's cool, and then call them back with the song that you know is going to work for this crowd, because obviously every crowd is different, and and that's what, it's not that easy. And can you imagine back in the day, my one friend was saying, like, it was so hard because when it was still vinyl, like my one friend still uses vinyl, but like it's like a hybrid thing now. But you could only carry so many vinyls. You take a crate or whatever it was, and this is what you chose for the night. Like, you have to make sure this works. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's like you don't have more music. You don't have another 5 flash drives at the back of the thing. You can just, okay, that's not working. I'm going to take out this trap flash drive. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make this work. That's a tough gig, man.
That's a really tough.
Even with musicians, if stuff isn't working, there's always more music we can tap into. I mean, if you're slightly seasoned, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's not working, let's just do a standard. Let's do a cover. You back in the vinyl day of DJing, you didn't have that.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, man. I mean, and even speaking about like the one set thing again, talking about nomadic, but like it just sorry, it's really, we were talking about how to set up a good set, and I watched a good set of dance music last night. So but like even them, they have dips and falls even within a song. Like if they like, there'll be a song that just pumps, and there'll be a song where they have the horns and they enjoy themselves for a bit, or they have like a guitar break. So then people, and that's what keeps people there and in stamina. Yeah, definitely
there has to be breaks within music, and that's what I was saying. Like, there can be breaks within a song or within a set, but there needs to be a combination of both.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what even DJs choosing their sets, they know, like, this song doesn't really break, but it's a banger, so I'm gonna pump it, but the next song needs to have a bit of both. Whatever it is, it's such an important thing, and therefore when writing music, maybe, or producing music, is also take that in consideration. Max Martin always said back in the day, when everything, like, they used to play Britney Spears in a club, there was a time when that happened. Like, you're not going to really hear that much, not at like big clubs now, but you'd go to a club and they say that within the first second you'd have to recognize a song, so that they'd keep that song would call people onto the dance floor, because that was always the goal. So they go, is it identifiable within like the first, I think it was 1 to 3 seconds, so immediate, like Britney Spears song, what was it? What's that big song of hers? Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Yeah.
It's lots of those hits, go, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it immediately. And he was like, that was always the hard thing as a songwriter and the producer working together. Like, how do we make this? What do we do to let people know it's that song, so they need to come onto the dance floor?
Definitely.
Because the DJs will only want to play songs that are going to keep, they choose songs functionally. So they want a song that's like, when I play it, I don't want it to be 5 minutes, like 2 minutes in, and then people realize, oh wait, it's that song, because they were talking. That thing drops, and it's like, oh, it's that one. That was the tough thing, and I think it's not as much as important today, but there is still it's not as important. So like, let people know what's going on from the beginning, so that they can immediately decide whether they're staying on the floor, or coming onto the floor, or leaving the floor. Do you know what I mean? And that will also then determine the success of the song. Because as a DJ, if you want to play a song, you want people to know the song quite quickly. That's another factor to put into.
And even an interesting thing with like a live band, what I found interesting is like a phenomenon of, so you'll have the groovy parts of your music, but then you'll have like a solo. So like just like one trumpet, like a like within Clat Empire, for example, they do that a lot. And with the people dancing, you'll see they'll actually sometimes they'll start walking on, or if they're already on, that's very useful, because then people go, oh, what's that?
Yeah,
they'll just sit and they watch that.
Exactly.
And then when it drops, they go nuts.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many ways to incorporate a solo. So the solo can be at the height of the song
Yeah.
to keep the energy going, like break the chorus, but it can also be at the drop, or it can be in between. Like, it doesn't have to always be a drop and a build. It can be a drop that never builds. You know, like, there's so many different ways to approach it. Or it can be at the high and the solo can bring it down. That can be the instruction of the soloist. You know, that's a functional knowing. Like, what is the point of the solo? Is it to elongate a chorus and a vibe on stage while people are still dancing? So therefore, you don't want it to be too intricate. Yeah, we're just adding energy. Your job is to create more energy. Or is your job to bring the energy down? Is your job to distract the people and allow them to take a break? You know, it's functions of soloing.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah. So there's lots to think about when you want to make dance music.
Or even like you were saying, even to not, if you don't want to make necessarily a dance song, but to make it dance applicable for someone else to make into a dance song. That's also, you know.
Yeah, like, and because it's nice. You know, good songs have that bounce to them usually, especially in pop. Like, you can sit there and just like bounce it. Like,
even a ballad, yeah.
Yeah, people like that.
Yeah. I agree. 100%.
Awesome. So, guys, I think let's end it off there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching episode 6 of Backseat Musicians.
Backseat Musicians.
Damn, now I have to change the song to include that.
Backseat Musicians.